That's when it hit me. I was on my own, and I would be for a while. I thought that my solo travel experience would start with backpacking, meeting people, making friends. Instead, I ended up booking a nice hotel, ordering Uber Eats, and seriously questioning whether or not I was cut out for this. Things are getting real now. I just finished the W trek with Allie, and she left earlier this morning, so I'm alone now. And that's a little bit scary now that I'm alone in South America and I don't know Spanish. I don't need to feel so much intimidation going into this. I know that I can make friends. But, you still have that sort of fear in the back of your mind. Other updates, I made the worst decision. I decided to do laundry and my checkout is in an hour and a half now. I actually washed everything just in a Ziploc bag in the shower and rinsed it out. And then now it's on the towel drying rack and above the heater over in the corner. So I'm hoping that everything dries in time. But if not, I'm just going to have to bring a bunch of wet clothes on a, 7-hour long journey back to Santiago. Yeah, that did not work. We go on the bus, getting out of here. So I caved and ended up getting a real hotel because I was too scared of my hostel. I'll go and check it out, but it seems like it might be a party hostel. And after not sleeping for a few nights in a row and camping, I just caved and decided that I wanted to do a real hotel so I could actually get some sleep. And this is what they got. It's massive. I didn't need to do this. I feel really silly and I panic bought this and I should, if I do this every time, this trip is going to be over a lot sooner than I had planned. I decided to make the most of it and hunker down and get some work done while I was there. Just a girl in her massive room trying to learn how to speak Spanish, edit, film, storytell, be alone without being lonely. I did run into some initial frustrations, like trying to load all of the media from my various different sources onto my laptop, which I figured would be sort of plug and play. Turns out not. I wasted half a day doing just that. But I also had some triumphs. I recorded the voiceover for my very first video, and I'm quite proud of how it turned out. So my plan for this whole trip had been to aggressively budget, stretch my money out as far as I could go to make sure that I could travel as much of the world as possible. One of the best ways to do that is by booking hostels for your accommodations. My Santiago hostel was about $15 a night versus probably around $100 or so for a basic room. It adds up pretty quickly, especially if you're traveling for an extended period of time. Now, booking hostels on a budget is very, very different from actually staying in those hostels. But it's honestly not that bad. The only inconvenient part is that you have to lock up your stuff all the time. It's in a locker. I'm on the top bunk. Every time I moved, I felt bad for the girl under me because, you're moving the whole bed. It's very shaky. And then if you go to bed early or if someone else goes to bed early, it's dark. You're always trying to get ready in the dark. You're always trying to you have to sort of think ahead to okay, what am I going to need handy in the morning? So yeah, there's a couple of difficulties with that, but I think I'll probably get used to it pretty quickly. The good news is it's honestly really nice here. It's a huge hostel. Everyone is super friendly. So I was nervous, but I managed to talk to a few people last night, made some friends. Now, I can be shy at times, so I was quite proud of myself when I immediately struck up a conversation with one of the girls who was staying in my dorm room. She was doing a similar thing to me, too. She was also solo traveling. Just going and meeting other people who are doing similar stuff to you, I don't know, it's comforted in a way because you feel like you're more part of a community than actually just drifting around the world on your own, which is sort of what I'm doing. There's not very many people here who speak English. I was talking to another girl with Google Translate, and basically we just typed
things to each other on our phones and then showed it to each other. So you get by. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. When I was at the hotel, I was a little bit isolated because no one at the hotel spoke English. So I just felt like I couldn't connect with anybody around me, even if it was just a very simple interaction, like asking for breakfast or asking for breakfast without ham and cheese. I got ham and cheese for breakfast. I'm vegetarian and lactose intolerant, so that's not very good for me, but I had the toast. It was really nice coming here, and even if there's language barriers here, everyone was so friendly. Just to make a couple of friends, I feel much more reinvigorated.
Over the next few days, I started to settle into more of a rhythm. I wasn't doing a ton of sightseeing. I did see some stuff and I walked around a bit, but most of my time in Santiago was spent just editing. It's just a lot of stuff to learn. So I spent a lot of time by the pool with my laptop and just tried to make as much progress as I could. It felt more like I was slowly figuring out the actual pace of this trip and what it would look like for me going forward. Now, outside of editing, I was also trying to learn how to do some domestic things. Yeah, I've been a bit spoiled over the past 6 or so years. Most days I ended up ordering Uber Eats rather than cooking. Like the majority of the days. I never cook. I don't cook. So part of the aggressive budgeting plan is obviously not eating out every single day.
Just off to go to the supermarket for the first time. There's a really cute park near me, so it's a nice walk in the morning. Check in later, see if I can figure out how to use the gas stove. I had a conversation with a girl here last night who was saying she was on a 6-month trip and she basically didn't cook for herself because she figured, oh, well, you know, it's like I'm on vacation. I don't want to do it. And I was telling her, well, I don't even cook at home. So it's weird for me to start doing it now when I'm technically off. But I used the hostel kitchen for the first time, which I was a bit intimidated about. Somebody had to help me out on turning on the gas stove. I wasn't exactly sure how to do it, but we figured it out. It's okay. I made myself eggs. They were delicious. The food here is so fresh. You know, when the yolks are a little bit darker, it's almost like an orange rather than a yellow. I gotta say, I just put salt on it. There was no sauce. There was nothing. It was just a little bit of oil, fried them up, a little bit of salt. Perfect.
I was just getting comfortable in my new lifestyle. And, you know, getting comfortable in a new pace isn't always about making big changes and doing things or big shifts. I think it's more about getting used to the little mundane actions that, frankly, make up the majority of our lives. Now, there was also some less glamorous parts about staying in a hostel, which I had happily forgotten about.
This morning, I was in the bathroom, just, you know, brushing my teeth, washing my face, doing my normal skincare routine. And I realized the men's and women's bathrooms are right across from each other. And the wall doesn't go up all the way to the top. So there's this like gap. So you can really hear everything. So some kid just came in and puked his guts out right as I was like doing my skincare routine. So, like just awful. And he's heaving and I'm just there sort of like, okay. Like, oh yeah, I'm in a hostel. It's a Tuesday. So he got wrecked on a Monday night. I mean, good for you, man. It's vacation, I guess. Poor guy. At least he turned on the fan. I appreciated that. That was nice.
The week did start out a little bit rocky. I was anxious about being alone. I was nervous about staying in a hostel. And I was worried about making friends. I was overwhelmed by my editing. And yes, I absolutely did cave and book a hotel room because one bad review scared me and I got anxious. But at the end of the week, I felt completely different. I had stayed in a hostel. I'd made the friends, I'd met the people, I even cooked a few meals for myself, and I finished my rough cut of the first video. Santiago became this little transition week. It wasn't the most exciting or action-packed, but in the end, I think it'll end up being quite an impactful week. It was the week where I started to feel like I was getting into a real rhythm. And by the time I left, I felt excited again. Not so nervous, not so scared, not so alone. So, next stop, Easter Island.